Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of City Hall Live. We're coming to you from the Santa Fe Community Gallery, and our guest today is City Councilor from District 3, Chris Rivera. Councilor, welcome to the show.
Joe, thank you for having me. It's been a while since I've been on.
It has been, and I appreciate you coming on. And we finally had the planets aligned, man, and we have you on, so I'm really excited about you being here. Yes, no, absolutely. So let's talk. I know that you were born and raised here. You grew up here. You went to St. Mike's.
Right.
And I don't know, some people do know that you were a horseman, but how was it, man? Did you play sports when you went to high school over there? Or?
I did play sports. I played football and was also a wrestler.
Okay.
And did some track once in a while.
Yeah. Well, if you're football, isn't it required that if you're a football player that you have to do track just because they want you to stay in shape and not to get a little bit too out? Or
yeah, they want you to stay in shape, want you to continue running and not take it too easy during the summer.
How was it like? So, what position did you play?
I played a slot receiver and then a defensive back.
Oh, okay.
Cornerback.
All right. And how many students, was it a pretty big school back then, or was it kind of the same of what they have right now as far as, I mean, it wasn't really, it's a private school, so it wasn't as big as, say, because you were there during the time when Santa Fe High, it was just Santa Fe High, and it was like, what, they had like 1,000, they had a lot of students, I don't know, probably more than 1,000, I would assume.
Right, they were, Santa Fe High was really huge. They well over 1,000 students, and St. Mike's pretty much averaged around 600. My graduating class, I think, was 115, I believe, so pretty small.
What do you think, has the alum just continued to be supportive of the school after they leave? What do you think it is? Is it the closeness that you guys share because of the intimacy of the classes and the people that you see? What is it, do you think?
I think that's it. I think that's a big part of it. It's funny you say that because my classmates and I have been meeting for the last couple of weeks trying to organize something for 35th year. To do something, maybe a tailgate at the homecoming game coming up. So, we are still really close. A lot of us still live in Santa Fe. The ones that are here, we see each other occasionally, have lunch together. We'll do things like that. So, a lot of pride in the school, as I'm sure there is with Santa Fe High and Capital. So just continuing that and being proud of the school we went to and where we are. Yeah,
I think it's really cool. My dad went there in '67, and he was a slot back too, I believe, or running back, one of the two. I have a picture of him playing at Majors Field.
Oh wow!
Yeah, against Santa Fe High.
Yeah.
But I noticed that it's different from, say, like a school down in Albuquerque in the bigger area where you don't see that kind of camaraderie. Maybe at Pius a little bit. You see that with a lot of alumni going and watching the games and the support. But you see that here, and I think it's due to the size of our community and that St. Mike's has been a staple of our community for a very, very long time as an educational institution. Right? And, it's just something, it's great to see that it hasn't lost that, right? That kind of support and that kind of following.
Yeah. I think some of the, back then when it was only St. Mike's and Santa Fe High, there was that rivalry between the two schools. So that really got the pride going, and, you wore your colors and proud of where you were at.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because the rivalry's next Friday. And they have made it, they started it last year where they honor the first responders and military night on the Demon Horseman game. Oh wow! Last year it was just so awesome because they had a big fire truck at the top of Ivanhead. They honored uniformed members on the field before the game when they did the national anthem. It was amazing. Fireworks, controlled fireworks though. I don't know. Yes, and it was just something. It was just something pretty cool just to start out the game that way. So.
Well, I was fortunate to visit France in July and for a wedding, and they had some pictures of me and my nephew when I was still in my fire department uniform. And when people from France saw that, they came up to me and said, "You used to be in the fire department, what did you do?" There was, even over there was a lot of respect for public safety, and it's just amazing to me how everywhere you go, it's sort of like a military feel. People will thank you for your service, and It's a really good feeling.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I know that that we just passed 9/11 in remembrance of that, and the fire department does a ceremony,
Right.
a remembrance ceremony down at the plaza. A lot of people have been showing up to that. It's been increasing every year, it seems, and it's good to know that. That people haven't forgotten about that.
Right.
Especially the firemen and the camaraderie that the firemen have right around the nation. It really did bring the fire departments together, right? Would you say that? I mean,
Yeah, it did. And I've had some people ask me, why I think that is, and I think we all share that commonality that when people are usually running away from a dangerous situation, it's usually police and fire that are running into the danger.
Yeah.
And we could relate to everything that had happened in New York on that day because we would have done exactly the same thing those guys did, and would have been probably up in that building if it was us as well. So just remembering their service and their duty, I think it's important for everyone in the fire service.
Yeah, and for those folks that maybe are watching us for the first time, Councilor Rivera was our fire chief here at the city for a while, and you're now retired, and now you're our city councilor.
Yeah, I used to work my way up, was a firefighter, paramedic for many years, and worked my way up the career ladder and became the fire chief, and it's been 10 years since I retired.
Wow.
So time goes by fast.
It does go by quick. How old were you when you joined the fire department?
22.
You were 22 years old.
22, yeah.
So what made you decide that you wanted to? Because so you graduated when you were 18, and you still had like that 4 years of kind of really trying to find out what you wanted to do? Was that what it was?
Exactly. I was going to UNM, came home for the summer, and my dad was a career firefighter as well. So he retired 2 weeks after I started. So
Oh wow.
He sort of talked me into just applying and seeing if I liked it, and did that, applied, and as soon as I started at the academy, just fell in love with it immediately. And
it's something great, right? When you get into something like that and you're passionate about it and you're excited about it, and it's probably the first time that maybe you felt like that in as far as your adult life, going into it, that this is something that you want to do. There's nothing greater than being able to find your calling, right, at such a young age.
Yeah, I had been going to UNM for a couple years, and had changed my major, I think, every semester, and was really trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Back then, everyone wanted to get into sports medicine and something involved with sports and trying to stay in there. And then, fell in love with this career the minute I started, and knew it's something that I wanted to do until as long as I could. Yeah,
I had similar paths. I went to UNM right out of school, fresh out of Santa Fe High, and I was in sports medicine. That's funny you should mention that.
Yeah.
But it was you kind of like you find your way, and I decided I wanted to join the military, and I think that was when I was in boot camp, and even in the crux of it all, in the depths of it all, of being yelled at and being broken down into working as a team, I felt like this is where I need to be right now, and it sets you in a path, a very positive path, if you accept it, right, and you embrace it.
Right.
Doing something like for service, public service, like fire department or military, it sets you in this very great path for success for whatever you do afterwards. Right? So I just think that's pretty interesting.
No, and I appreciate your service too. And I was telling my kids asked me the other day. They said, "What is your biggest regret in life so far?" And I told them it's that I never joined the military, the armed services. My dad was a Marine, so he pushed me. He said, go enter. He wanted me to be a Marine, so I said, be a Marine, be a Marine. And back then you do the opposite of what your mother and father say. So but that's my biggest regret, that I never.
Well, I mean, being in the fire department is definitely service, man. So it's something that when you're called, just like in the military, when you're called to protect the country, there's no question you have to do it. when you're called at in the city in Santa Fe, when something's happening, you got to be there, right? There's those expectations. So
Yep.
I really see the police department and the fire department as the same as, it's the same in the military as far as giving back and taking care of so you did.
In a way, I guess.
Yes. Because you guys still, training and going through the fire academy is just as rigorous, if more rigorous than boot camp.
It's pretty tough.
Yeah, I would say.
Pretty tough,
I mean, I've gone out and filmed a couple of a while back. I went and I filmed one of the prep trainings that you guys do, where you have to put like a sandbag dummy on your shoulder and then carry it all the way up. A flight of like one of those pillars of stairs that you guys have for training, and then bring it back down in a certain amount of time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they do everything with a weighted vest, simulating the amount of weight you would be carrying, and it's 45 pounds, and it doesn't sound like a lot,
but
once you put that vest on, it's...
Yeah, and you're going up a certain amount of flight of stairs and then coming back down, I'm sure. That's just insane.
And doing a number of other tasks as well, and really test where you're at, your strength, your...
psychologically
cardio,
too, right?
Psychologically.
Like when you're going into a dark room filled with smoke, and you gotta trust your partner, or you gotta trust your instincts, and right, you can't get that claustrophobia of that feeling, right, of being enclosed.
People ask me, they always ask they want to know fire department stories.
Yeah.
They always ask the scariest thing I've ever been to, and I think when La Casa Sena burned, I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
We had been in there and you couldn't see a thing, and when we finally put it out, we were able to go in there after and look around it, and I was probably 2 feet from where there was a huge hole where the piano had gone through the floor. And if I would have taken a few extra crawling steps towards that hole, I may have gone down. So it's really a matter of inches sometimes when you're in dangerous situations like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think about it also, you were in also for when the Los Alamos fires were going on too, right? And so there was a lot of things that you guys had to take care of over here, because we had a lot of folks coming down from the hill, coming down here, and triage and also taking care of another community when they were in need.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but we were running firefighters up there on a daily basis to go help out with whatever they needed up there. And that fire was so spread out throughout the community. We had crews of people all over, and I was fortunate enough to ride around with some of their battalion chiefs in there, and learned a lot during that process about wildland fire and about Los Alamos. All the gates were open. We pretty much had access to the whole place, so it's was able to see parts of the area that many people don't see. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that's your fire part. We got that, but now you're a city councilor, and I know that there's some things going on right now in your district. We were talking a little bit before the show, and we were talking about soccer. Soccer's been a big thing here. It is a big thing here in our community. Just last night at the school board, they were talking about thinking about bringing in middle school soccer as a sport. And unfortunately, middle schools in the metro area, in Albuquerque and in Rio Rancho and our surrounding communities, they don't have middle school soccer.
Right.
So, there's nobody to play really, except the schools that we have here. But the city, we have fields, and we're working on maintaining them, right? Is that out at MRC?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to go to Harvard a couple years ago for a local government class, and I presented the soccer dilemma that I felt like we had here.
What is it for the folks that
It's really not enough quality playing fields, especially out at the MRC. That's our biggest area where we can put the most fields. And up until recently, those fields hadn't been in really good shape. So we were able to get money from the legislature, and then just recently, the city put $500,000 in, the county matched that $500,000, and then we received some additional funding from the legislature. So slowly we've been making improvements to those fields. We've been, because we don't have middle school, the high schools have soccer, but we've been really engaging the local soccer clubs
Yeah.
to really help out and find out how these fields need to be improved. My vision is that we attract national tournaments to come in. A couple of years ago, we had some teams that wanted to come out here and do some training, professional teams, because we're the same elevation pretty much as Mexico City. So if you can come out here and do some training before you go to Mexico City and play a professional game, people were looking at that. So we've done some work to get those fields in shape, and like I said, engaging the soccer community to help us out has been a big plus, because they know soccer.
Yeah.
But it's one of the fastest growing sports in America still.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
The concussion issue in football, I think, has pushed a lot of people towards soccer. So we just need to keep that momentum going.
Well, and I know that also by us improving our fields, I saw a report about how they're using it as a tourism thing as well. You know, because you can have these national tournaments, these AAU tournaments, if you want to call them that loosely. They come in to a town, like there was a farming town that they were having. They turned all their farming land into this huge soccer complex, and there's hotels that were being built around the complex, and it's created this income of GRT and, you know, tourism. It's helped out restaurants, the whole community. Right. Because they've created this big complex, and I don't know if it's like in Indiana or somewhere in the Midwest, and so it's something that if we give back and we invest in our, you know, for our community, but also it can also affect us in other ways too as well, in a positive manner, right?
No, definitely. La Liga just held a tournament a couple of weekends ago. They brought teams from Denver, El Paso, Texas. The teams from everywhere.
Yeah.
And soccer travels really well. And it was a 3-day tournament, so they spent nights here in the hotels.
They ate at our restaurants.
Ate at the restaurants.
That's right, and shopped at our stores.
Yep. And who really, if you're traveling for soccer, who wouldn't want to come to Santa Fe?
Yep.
Because not only can your kids play soccer, but there's so much more for the adults to do.
That's right. It's a destination city, and parents would Santa Fe, yeah, sure, we'd love to go and take our family there. We can watch our kids play their game, and then we can go and do family stuff and check out Santa Fe. So
traveling for soccer players, you know, if you're going somewhere that isn't a great destination, it might just be one parent and the child. If you're coming to Santa Fe, it becomes a family thing, and everyone's willing to come out, because, you know, mom or dad can go shopping while the kids are playing soccer all day, and it's a good thing.
So what's the timeline as far as the improvements go?
So the money is just sort of filtering its way through to the city, and again, we're working with the soccer community to get those. I think the next step is probably some field improvements, and they want to put up some lights, is my understanding.
Okay,
so.
That's great.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Before we close here, I wanted to talk to you. You are running unopposed.
Yes.
The deadline has closed.
Yep.
And so no one wanted to run against you. So that's a good thing. You must be doing a good job.
It's a good thing for me.
Right?
Either I'm doing a great job, or people have really become kind of apathetic about government.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I hope it's that I'm doing a great job.
Yeah.
But you just don't know. These days are just different, I think. I'm not sure people want to get involved the way they used to. And you know, on the other side, it's really tough to beat an incumbent. So, you know, that may be one of the reasons Councilor Villarreal doesn't have someone running against her either.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you know, it helps though that you're a good person too, right? You know, if it was something that you stirred the pot with somebody and said, I'm going to get that, I'm going to run for council against him, you know, or something, because you do get that. You know, there are some folks that may not be happy with whoever's in, and they want to go against them, and they have ways of they feel like if they get in, they can make a bigger difference or whatever. It's interesting though, because when you have this idea of like, well, I'm going to win, and then I'm going to do something, but you don't understand that, well, you need to be in line with the, have at least, 4 votes in order to get whatever you need to get passed. And there's a process with staff and all these other things. It's not just something you could snap your fingers like a genie and it's gonna happen.
Right.
Because it doesn't happen that way.
Yep.
And I think that's why, another reason why you've been so successful is because you were with the city, so you know the process, you know what you can agree to, or I don't know, I would say promise, but what you can agree and promise to. I guess that would be the right combo, without saying, if someone comes up to you and says, hey, it's almost like doing that election when you're in middle school and saying, we're going to have pizza and Coke on every Friday, and it's going to be free.
Yep.
Well, that's not going to happen, right? But people that hear it believe it, and then they say, all right, well, where's our soda and where's our pizza? So that's one thing, you can't go out and say that stuff because you already know the city process, right?
And it was, you're right, I did know the city process from when I was fire chief.
Yeah.
And had gone through it. But even moving to city council, realizing the things that you want to get done, processes like soccer we've been working on for at least 4+ years, that things move at a slower pace when you're looking at government. I know people don't like to hear that, but that's a reality of it. If you want to do
the way
it
it works.
right,
Yep.
it's going to take some time.
That's right. If you want to do it right, if you rush it, it'll look rushed, and then people will say, well, why didn't you look into this when you were doing this? Why wasn't this done right?
Right.
Well, because this is government. We want to make sure this is a one-time thing and we do it right the first time.
Yeah, and a good example is we as a city could have made the improvements we thought to the soccer fields without including any of the soccer teams, any of the players, any of the coaches, any of the league presidents. And, we probably could have done a decent job, but they wouldn't have been happy. So.
No, and that's who you're doing it for.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So.
I wish people would more follow that. That'd be,
Yeah.
right? Let's talk to the people that are using these things.
involved.
And let's see, involved, and let's see what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, that's great. I'm glad that we're going to have you around for another 4 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
This will be your 3rd term?
Third term, our election cycle has changed. So this is the first year we're in the general election. So we're moving from a March to a November election.
Yeah.
So the term will start January 1st and go for another 4 years, versus before it was March, the first Tuesday in March, I believe it was. So
Yeah.
it'll be a change, but it's been good. It's been a little different running a summer campaign than it has been running a winter campaign, which a little bit tougher because you still, even though I'm unopposed, I still try to go door to door and visit with people. But you find less and less people home during the summer. They're out camping and doing things on the weekends. So it's been a little bit different, but it's good.
Do you feel like now going into your 3rd term that you've kind of navigated your comfort level, and the navigation and the process for you has gotten easier, or has it always been that way for you since you were an employee before?
I think it all depends what it is. Some things are more challenging than others to try to get through the system. And like you said, on the council, there's 8 of us and the mayor. So you can't do anything with just 1 vote or 2 votes. You have to have a majority. And so your ideas have to be good, and they have to be sold to the rest of the governing body, and they have to make sense. And so there's a lot to be done, even trying to get legislation through.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on, and I hope we don't wait a long period of time before you come back on.
No, we'll try to do a lot
All
more
right,
often
that's
this time
good.
around.
That's good. Thank you, Councilor. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, folks, for joining us. This has been City Hall Live. I want to thank Christina and Adrian. The team is back together, and so I'm really excited about that. I want to thank Rod Lambert for letting us use his facility. They're under a little bit of construction here at the gallery, putting on a new show for you folks, so come on down and check it out. Rod, when is it open? The 27th of September, the new show down here at the Community Gallery, so come check it out. Folks, thanks again. Have a safe week. Have a great week. Adios.